Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. Although after next Sunday, this will be suspended during Ramadan, where I will not be home at all during the evenings. I will be at the mosque every night, having dinner with the community. So I will not be back doing reviews until April 23rd. So the 19th will be the last live I do for this month. And so by the time I get back to doing reviews in April, then I will have a few more items to add to my ration box in addition to the few items that I still have in there. So anyway, this is a 2018 Sapaco Packed Menu 13. And the date code on here so the 8 is the first number, so that means it is a 2018. If it was 2008, then the bag style would be a whole lot different than it is now. So this would be a vegetarian, no meat. But there is dairy, so there is cheese. I'll see if this peelable seal cooperates. Last time I did this with the totem, it didn't. I put my thumb through the plastic before I could actually get the bag open. Oh, there's my crusher here. There's Yossi in the house. Well, it's going to work this time. Last week I had to get a knife and cut the bag because the peelable seal failed. So let's see what we got in here. We got a double pack. Sapaco has been doing this for some of their rations. Thanks, Yossi. I appreciate that. I told him that I'll be kicking out. So thanks for telling me that. And I'll explain that in a bit. So this is what Ameriqual does all the time. Warnick has never done this. But Sapaco has been doing it. Sometimes these open very easily, sometimes not. So I got my pots on the stove. So this is what feels like a solid mass is the cheese tortellini. And got the info sleeve, and it looks like something had leached out onto it. Gonna have to find the culprit. Well, I am feeling a lot of oil on the chocolate peanut spread. And it smells like rancid peanut oil, so I'm going to set that. I have that sleeve for the info sleeve for the tortellini out of camera view, so I'm going to go get a paper towel so I can wipe the grease off, the oil off my fingers, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if I have to wipe off anything else. Oh, yeah, it's on the peanuts. Dry roasted peanuts, so everything else underneath the peanuts should be fine. I don't know if you can see the oil that I had picked up. So this is a lemon lime drink, but it's in one of these super big bags, and it's also oily. But the amount of powder is only up to about there. So this was supposed to be a mix-in pouch, but because it does not have a means to close it, it was a mess for anyone out in the field trying to do this. But I don't have to worry about that because I use my drinking jar. So that is a drink mix. The spoon wrapper is fine. Of course, I won't be using the spoon because I have my foreignMRE.com spork. Oh, even the flameless ration heater got a little oil, but I won't be using that. Accessory pack. And it has something in there that I'm not happy with, but I'll deal with that. Got the beverage bag, which I don't use for beverages. A few people have had their issues with these exploding at the bottom or the seals failing. I don't use these for drinks. I use them for storage. Got some crackers, and these appear to be oil-free. Recovery trail mix. And a glass bottle of Tabasco. Somewhere on this thing is a little pinhole. So I am not going to even bother with that. I'm going to stick this and this back in here along with this oily paper towel, and I'm going to stick all this right in this bag. I will not even bother with that chocolate peanut spread as much as I would love to. See, that's how these tend to open. There's no way you can close it to seal it. So into the drinking jar it goes. Look at that bright yellow color. This calls for 12 ounces of water. This is a different mix than the standard lemon lime. This one is the carbohydrate electrolyte, so it has some different ingredients in it. I'll get into the accessory pack. Got the rear roll, the wet wipe, the coffee creamer, Bill's Brew, peppermint gum, no matches, packet of salt, and this crap. I do not like using the artificial sweeteners. Get the Bill's Brew in here. Same coffee that's in the totem. Booger Butt and Booger Butt. There is Dave in the house. Thanks for dropping in. In goes the creamer. And this is a 2018 menu 13. and I've had to ditch one item already. The chocolate peanut spread had some issues. It leaked all over a few other items, which I have cleaned up. I got a paper towel and wiped them off, wipe the oil off. But that chocolate peanut spread, it just stinks, so I am not going to bother with it. Spicy tuna rolls is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to put this in the water to boil. And I will come back with a couple of the goodies. This Tabasco sauce bottle is clean, so that's good. Anyway, I will be right back. Sugar from my own kitchen. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen. Just a second, I gotta kill my stream. I'll be right back as soon as I can. Oh, that was a scammer. I do apologize for that. That was a scammer. I hate those idiots. Yeah, their tear notch for this recovery trail mix goes along this way instead of this way. Which is kind of weird. It's got those pretzel balls. So you get 2 snacks with nuts in it because this has peanuts. And I cannot even feel a tear notch on this one. Wait. Well, there it is again. It goes this way instead of this way, which is weird. So, still should be able to get a hiss out of this. Oops. Sorry about that. I don't think he even heard that. But I broke the vacuum so I can push the peanuts down before I rip it any further. So that is the peanuts. I'm going to go ahead and open up. Oops, fix that. Go ahead and open up the crackers. See how well these came out. Oh, these are going to be a crumbly mess, but that's okay. Now to replace the messed up peanut spread, chocolate peanut spread, I grabbed a packet of cheese spread and I just had it in my pocket. So that's all warmed up and ready to use. Just gave the lemon lime drink another mix. So I'm going to go ahead and get the cheese tortellini. For those just coming in late, this is a 2018 Sopaco packed cheese tortellini. And they included a chocolate peanut spread that had leaked oil on some of the other items, so I wiped those up. And I just decided to go ahead and toss it because it smells like rancid peanut oil. So I decided to go ahead and, well, I grabbed this cheese spread thinking that I might be able to do something with it, and it's a good thing I did. But anyway, I am going to grab the tortellini and I'll be right back. I got a fresh paper towel to wipe it off with. I just use this to carry it in here. I want to do something just a little bit different before I put the tortellini down. Yeah, I got a tortilla from my fridge. There's LC in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And a little parm from the kitchen. Because why not? Oh, who's having turkey? I gotta scroll through the chat. Actually, before I do that, I gotta put it on live chat. I'm scrolling back just to see if I missed anybody coming in. Looks like I'm all caught up. Not too many in here tonight, but that's okay. These crackers were a bit bent, so they're going to break very easily. Go ahead and take a test nibble of this. Cracker tastes fine. So there's the cheese spread. And this originally came with a chocolate peanut spread, but it sprung a leak. So I had to toss it. So that is the actual size and shape of the tortellini. At least from the bottom because I flipped it over. The sauce tastes like the usual pasta sauces that come on the spaghetti or most of the other pasta mains. Nowhere near as good as, I don't know, I guess because it's messing with the focus, trying to autofocus. I guess I'm moving my hand too much, I don't know. But anyway, DeCarlos Perry is here, thanks for dropping in. But nowhere near as good as that tomato sauce that I had on the meatballs from that totem last week. That was awesome. But I guess the cheese tortellini seems to be a consistent one in the lineup since it was introduced. It just tastes like a canned pasta sauce you get either from Chef Boyardee or any of the other brands of that canned pasta. And I decided to change it up anyway because I put down a tortilla from my kitchen. Just for something a little different. But what is here is just roasted and salted peanuts. And then this is the Recovery Trail mix with these pretzel balls. As cashews, plus peanuts and almonds. That's what's in the recovery trail mix. So you got two nut snacks. I guess because the protein in here is not all that great, that they wanted to use the nuts to boost up the protein. And there would be some protein in the chocolate peanut spread, but not as much would be in straight up peanut butter. But since I can't eat that because it sprung a leak and stinks, I decided to put some cheese spread on the crackers. Back here is the carbohydrate electrolyte lemon lime. It looks a whole lot different than the lemon lime that looks more like the color of Mountain Dew or a lime any other lime flavored drink. Then I got the Bill's Brew coffee, but I substituted the Splenda that crap for some real sugar because I just can't handle those fake sweeteners. They mess with your insides, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Gonna give one of these pretzel balls a taste. Those are perfect. They taste fresh. The nuts are not roasted, which is a shame. These peanuts are roasted and salted. That brings out the nuttiness. And sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. I have no idea how to control that. I guess irregular movement confuses it. The Carlos, I hope that gives you at least some relief, even if it can't take care of everything. It might it might help with some things, and I know other people who use it as medicine because for them it is the only thing that helps them. Now grab this and give it a taste. Yep, that tastes different than the other lemon lime. You can taste the added electrolytes in it. It's, it still tastes sweet like the lemon lime, the standard one, but it just has all the other stuff in it. So if you are doing some serious activity and you need to replenish those electrolytes, then that stuff will do it. And yet you get some flavor out of it too. Yeah, they are. And for those who are members of a channel, you know, those that do regular monthly donations to the channel, like say someone were to do Patreon every month or send something by PayPal every month to a channel owner to offer them a little bit of support, even if it's only 99 cents a month, which would be the minimum on a lot of these things. You know, then different emojis are made available to the channel owner to put up. And then the channel members will have that emoji next to their name in a live chat. Whether it's in a live stream or a premiere with live chat. So I have different pictures of Mila. I'm still going to keep her face because she's such a very special cat. So I will always keep her as my online logos for everything. Well, actually, I do have one member so far, and Garden State Gardener did that uh, probably a couple of weeks ago, so sometime last month. And so channel members will get shout outs. And I may send some gifts to channel members. But I don't actively plug that. I will describe it for those that are interested in how it works. But I just choose to leave that entirely up to the viewers to decide if they want to do that or not. If you're watching on a web, like a desktop style browser, under the video view window, there is a join button next to this subscribe button where you'll see subscribed. Then there's the word join, and you can hit on that. On mobile, I'm not sure how that works on Android or I think you can go to the community, the homepage of the channel, and there is a tab that says membership. I think from there you can also join a channel to become a member. It all just depends on what you're watching on. So I'm not sure how that will work depending on what device you're watching on. Yeah, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know how anything works on that. I'm trying something a little different here. I could still taste the saltiness of the cheese spread, even through the tortellini and the cracker. Huh. Yeah, I'm sure we've all done that when we were kids. I remember my niece and nephews doing that when I would be over there for a meal, and they wouldn't be interested in eating. Then we're done. 5 minutes later, they want something to eat and they want junk food. Or they would want a dessert if we have dessert maybe a little while after we eat the meal. Yes, kids can be picky eaters, and their tastes will change, as I'm sure you're finding out. Yeah. Will be going through a whole lot of onions at the mosque. In fact, we do every Friday. When we make our Friday lunches, we are cooking up a whole lot of chopped onions, which I have been cutting up ahead of time and putting them in Ziploc bags. And so we've been doing a whole bunch ahead of time for use during Ramadan and throwing bags of them in the freezer. And then, like a day or two before we need them, we'll take a bag out of the freezer to let it thaw out. And then they can just cook them and not have to spend time cutting them because it'll be less time in the kitchen. And our vent hood can't handle a whole lot of use. And if the kitchen gets too hot, temperature wise, that thing will just shut down. But we had a vent window installed in there, so that has been helping. Well, then you just have to stick with stick with cooked ones. Or if you've ever had the Vidalia onions, they're supposed to be really sweet. One of the pretzel balls landed in the sauce. Yeah. Or you can try shallots. They're a smaller version of an onion and they can be milder. But I've gotten so used to chopping onions every week that it just doesn't bother me. Looks like a few people got kicked out or had to leave. I hope if they got kicked out, they come back. But either way, I'm still going to be here. Yeah, I do like this recovery trail mix. I just wish that they would actually roast the nuts. These taste nuttier because they were roasted and salted. They still got that creaminess even though they have a bit more crunch. This menu doesn't even have a real dessert unless you count the chocolate peanut spread, but since that went to crap, and I've gone with the cheese spread instead. I guess the only sweet I get is from my coffee and my drink mix. There's a tiny, tiny bit of sweetness in that sauce. Now, I see some others have come back in. My viewer count has gone back up. So for those that did get kicked out, sorry that happened. Yeah, I was bummed that chocolate peanut spread decided to leak because I was actually looking forward to opening that up. Yeah, he's a cutie. Uh, According to my tracking, expected delivery around April 18th. So I think I picked a good time to order that. Yeah, but because sometimes these things can take a little longer, depending on where it's coming from and whether or not some nutheads are going to try to mess with it. I figured it would be a good time that way. If it does take a little extra time, I'm okay with it. Plus, I have something in mind for the first Sunday after Ramadan. I have that Canadian IMP lamb stew. I have a new shelf stable bagel. And I have a cookie from a newer humanitarian daily ration. And I'm going to be looking for a few other things to go with that. To make a meal out of, and that will be done live. Just tossed a couple of the pretzel balls in here. Wow, that would be a great score if you can actually buy those. Which is something I can't do right now. Yeah, I paid bills, made some other purchases, got my grocery shopping done. And I picked up a couple of items to take to the mosque for use during Ramadan. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't buy through the Canadian site, the Canadian eBay. I can't do it. It won't let me do that for some reason. I mean, I can look later, but I can't go through a foreign eBay site for some reason. Like I said, I think last week, if even if I had 1,000 times more in my account to cover the cost of the item, if I try to buy through a foreign site, it won't accept the payment. I even tried it when I had a balance in my PayPal. It wouldn't accept it. So I don't know if I'm blocked or if it's something with my particular bank account which I use. I used to use what was known as Green Dot, and they changed over to what's now called Go to Bank. It is online only, although you can use an ATM. Certain ATMs you can use without eating a transaction fee if you're doing something more than just checking your balance. But if you attempt to withdraw from an ATM that is not in their network, you will have to lose a little bit of money in their fee. I'm not sure about trying to deposit through an ATM that is not in their network. But if I were to add cash to my account through a store, like I go to Walgreens where I originally bought or got the first Green Dot card, then I would have to pay a fee to add that cash to the account. But because I use direct deposit, I don't have to do that. I don't have to have a monthly fee taken if my deposit is above $1,000. But GoToBank will not accept certain types of checks, so I set up another account at an actual physical bank, which I will use when I get checks, say like I get a settlement from a court because of a class action lawsuit that I am a party to. I can go to that other bank and deposit it. But in order to keep that account going, I have to pay a monthly fee, so I have to put some money in there, just enough to cover that fee every month, otherwise that account will get closed. So, but that's my backup. But either way, you can do what's called photo deposit of a check. So if I get a personal check from someone or a local business, I can photo deposit that to my account, and after it's verified that it would be accepted, or those court settlement checks, for some reason GoToBank considers them a scam. they do not think they are legit checks. Even if they verify it themselves, they will not accept it as a real check. If you take that same check and go to a check cashing place like Easy Money or Check into Cash or any of those others where they also do the payday loans, they will not take those checks either because they call a phone number that is on there to verify that it's a lit check. And even if they do get someone, they may not always accept it. And even if they do accept a check to cash it for you, they take a much larger amount out of it than a bank would. So I've done that a few times and I'm just not going to do that again. And I forgot to mention when I opened the accessory pack, there was no matches in it. Usually in these MRE accessory packs, you get a book of matches. Well, this one didn't have one. And the bag had more than enough room to stick a matchbook in there. For some reason, it didn't get included. Either that was on purpose or it was an oops on the part of the packer. It wouldn't be the first time they'd done an oops like that. Either forget something, put the wrong thing in, or put two of something in. Like when you get salt and salt-free seasoning, or you get sugar and artificial sweetener. Yeah, it just seems kind of weird. There is Chance in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Menu 13, packed by Sapaco in 2018. But there was a fail in one of the items. There was supposed to be chocolate peanut spread to go on the crackers, but that leaked. And it smelled like rancid peanut oil coming out of there. Plus on the items that leaked onto, so that got tossed. And I brought out a cheese spread. I originally was planning on using that anyway, thinking I might put it on the tortellini. And I had already got some Parmesan cheese out of my kitchen and put that on there. And I threw one of my own tortillas down there just for the heck of it. So there's no real dessert in here. This is the recovery. There we go. This is the recovery trail mix with these pretzel balls, peanuts, cashews, and almonds that were not roasted, and then roasted and salted peanuts here. This is a lemon lime carbohydrate electrolyte drink, which is a different color as well as a different flavor than the regular lemon lime drink. And it has a different taste because of the added ingredients in it. And, oops, sorry about that. Bill's Brew coffee, but they put that crap in there. And I don't do that stuff. So I put my own sugar in there. We'll see how well this works. It might not work too well because the tortilla got a little soggy from the sauce, but if I hold it like that, it works. I just thought I'd try that just for something different. And next Sunday will be my last Sunday night dinner stream before Ramadan starts. Then I will not go live on Sundays again till April 23rd. Thanks for dropping in, Elsie. Hope to see you next week or next month. When you're a parent, you gotta deal with the kids. Speaking of kids, next week is spring break for pretty much all the schools here in Iowa. So kids will be out of school, teachers do not have to work. So there will be Just kids running around all over the place unless they have activities that they can do. We are finishing up our state high school boys basketball tournament this weekend, so now they will get the arena ready for the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. So I think 2 games will be played here in Des Moines. So locals here will be able to go watch some teams play that they otherwise may not get to go see, especially if they are not regular competitors of Iowa schools, like Iowa State, Drake, University of Iowa, or University of Northern Iowa. And those games will be broadcast on some sports channels or your main TV channels. Yeah, spring break for us here next week. At one time, schools were doing it at different weeks and they were staggered, so there's an effort to try to get them to just all have their spring break at once. There is CR in the house from north of the border. Thanks for dropping in. This is 2018 cheese tortellini packed by Sapaco. And they did the inner bag like Ameriqual does with all of their MREs. Sapaco does a lot of them that way. But the chocolate peanut spread was a fail because it leaked oil all over several other items that I had to wipe up, so I got out a cheese spread from my stash, thinking I might put it on the tortellini, but instead it's been going on the crackers. And I got a tortilla from my kitchen, and I have some of the tortellinis in. I did put Parmesan cheese on it. And a couple of different times I threw in some of these pretzel balls from the Recovery Trail Mix for a little crunch. Then I have roasted salted peanuts here. The nuts in here, the cashews, peanuts, and almonds are not salted or roasted. And this is lemon lime drink, but it's different. It's the carbohydrate electrolyte drink mix, which is different than the standard lemon lime drink mix. So I was saying earlier, next week will be my last Sunday stream before Ramadan starts. I apologize for the constant focus shifting. I don't know why it does that. I have not been able to figure out how to stop it from happening, especially after I stopped doing any movement under the camera lens. So next Sunday, I may pull out my halal chicken and vegetables, MRE, or I have the spinach fettuccine that I would pair with a pouch of the chicken chunks, and I've done that before. And I like adding the chicken to that fettuccine. Now, spinach fettuccine got booted out of the menu lineup in place of something else. There are some new menus. I've been able to try a couple of them. But last night, Smokey had the buffalo chicken MRE from back in 2010. And the chicken was actually cooked in that sauce instead of, you get just the chicken chunks and then you open up a packet of sauce and dump it on the chicken, which is not the same. That's not true buffalo chicken. But I would be very interested in getting my paws on one of those. But that one only ran for 3 years, at least from what he was able to find out. So that one would be very hard to find, especially in good condition. I also have the beef stew from that Chef 5-Minute Meals, which I have already taken the granola cereal pouch out of that because I'm going to be using that for breakfast during Ramadan, which I will eat before first light. And then after that, which would begin the time for the morning prayer, I would not eat or drink anything until just after sunset. But that pack does not come with any drink options, so I would be pulling out of my stash. The halal MRE, I would only pull a hot drink out of my stash because a cold drink powder is included in that. And that halal chicken and vegetables is in the clear bag with the peelable seal, like the totem bag from before 2017. And then the other one, the one LC had sent to me, it's an incomplete 24-hour ration in that it is lacking the accessory pack, but I found one on eBay and I was able to order it. So I am waiting on that one to be sent here. And provided it doesn't get messed with after it gets here into the US, I should have it before Ramadan ends. There's Adventures with Outdoor Eagle. Thanks for dropping in. First time here. This is packed in 2018 by Sapaco, one of the three companies that packages U.S. rations. The others are Ameriqual and Wernick. Occasionally, if you look in the right store, you might find a civilian food item packed by one of these companies. I have seen Ameriqual packed foods in stores here. In fact, I got a hold of one. It was a chili. I looked on the back of it. Whoa, that's different. Yeah, the brown bag or the very early 10 bag MREs. So depending on what year it was, it would have been the brown bag or the early 10 bag. And those bags are a whole lot thicker than these. They're very hard to get open, but some of these can be hard to get open too. Last week when I opened up one of those tailored operational training meal bags, I put my thumb right through the plastic before I could get the peelable seal to split apart. So then I had to get a knife to cut it open. Yeah, so like if you remember the Four Fingers of Death, certain production years of the hot dogs, or you get the corned beef hash. I had two good ones. Then the last corned beef hash MRE I got had seen some damage and it did not look right at all. I was not able to eat that one. Some of the other items out of that I could eat, but not all. That one had seen some damage in transit, which is unfortunate, but the two good corned beef hash brown bag MREs that I had were absolutely awesome. They were perfect. But the very, very early brown bags, instead of the white toilet paper bundles, the paper was blue. I have never gotten a hold of one of those. Other ration reviewers who have had more opportunities to get those early brown bags from 81 would have probably gotten the blue ones, or if they got the MCI or Meal Combat Individual, also known as the C ration, with the food in the cans. And the accessory pack was in the brown bag like it was in the early brown bag MREs. You could not see through the bag that the accessory items were in. It was listed on the outside of that bag. There is Nation MRE finds in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Kind of had a little fun with my tortellini. I got it in a tortilla. But this one was supposed to have chocolate peanut spread for the crackers, and that was supposedly the dessert. But that packet leaked. So I grabbed a packet of cheese spread that I have in my stash. So that's on the cracker. This is a recovery trail mix. There you go, there's a whole cashew. So cashews, almonds, peanuts, not roasted, and these pretzel balls. And then another snack item, roasted and salted peanuts. If you're referring to the cats, I have one cat. For less than a year, I had two. August of 21, Pumpkin was brought to me after his previous servants were unable to take him or take her with them when they had to move out of their previous apartment to where they live now, because where they had to move to, they could not have a second cat. So he brought Pumpkin, the tortie cat, to me. And at that time, I still had Mila, the one you see in my channel logos. She left this existence in May of last year. About a week after Ramadan ended. She was 18 and a half. So I'm down to the tortie girl. Why they named her Pumpkin, I don't know, but I wasn't going to try to confuse her, try to get her to adjust to a no name, because I wouldn't do that to an animal like that. Yeah, I had Mila since she was 5 weeks old. Now, when I took Pumpkin in, Mila was not too happy about that. She was harassing Pumpkin. But then, you know, about the end of April, she started really get sicker, and she just wasn't harassing Pumpkin as much. She started to cut down on eating and drinking and relieving herself. And I ended up having to try to find her from where she tried to hide. But where I couldn't go to a vet clinic or an animal hospital because they are not open on Mondays, but the Animal Rescue League is open every day. But because bus service over there sucks, I took an Uber. So I put Mila in a box. I closed the box and put that box in a bag. And I took her over to the Animal Rescue League. And I told him my situation. And I said, I need to have you do the deed for me. I refer to it as sending her forth as an across the Rainbow Bridge. So I paid him what I could afford, plus still have enough left to cover for an Uber ride back home. So they took her, and before they took her away, they asked me if I wanted to spend time with her to say goodbye, and I said I've been doing that all day. So then ARL sent me, about a week later, they sent me a little card with her paw prints. So I have that up on the wall, just below my clock. And then her ashes were scattered over a field where the ashes of other pets who have passed are scattered. If their last owner could not afford to pay for the service of having the ashes put into a container, which I could not, otherwise I would not have been able to afford the Uber ride back home. But I was perfectly fine with that. So but Pumpkin has been she's very mischievous. She's young. She will be 4 this summer. I don't know exactly when she was born, unlike I know when Mila was because I got her 5 weeks after she was born. And I knew that from the person I got her from. But because I don't know Pumpkin's true age, I'm just taking a guess, but she's a bigger cat. But, you know, I haven't had it's been quite a few years since I had a cat that young who is that playful. Who wants to go after my feet at night, but only when I have my wool blanket spread out and covering me. She likes that blanket, by the way. When it's not in use, it's just folded up just to cover the very bottom, the foot end of the bed. And Pumpkin may choose to sleep there. Mila only liked to sleep at the head of the bed right next to the pillow. It didn't matter what I had on top of the bed as far as the bedspread or blanket. That was her spot. But she used to sleep with me at night unless it was really, really hot. Like when we had the 2020 derecho, when we lost our power, then it would be too hot for her to sleep under the covers with me. But during the nights when I could not have my air conditioner for obvious reasons, no power, I wasn't under the covers anyway. I was just laying on top of the bed. But Pumpkin hasn't gotten to that point where she would want to just sleep on the bed with me. She might bound around on and off the bed and go after my feet. And I tell her no. I tell her that she can't have my feet. But I don't know if she will get to that point where she would want to sleep in bed with me at night, or if that's just not part of her personality. Yeah, the Pumpkin's previous servants, you know how it is with cats. Dogs have owners, cats have staff, as they say. You know, the guy who brought her to me said that they did not trust her with an animal shelter, to find a home for her. They were so afraid that she would be unnecessarily put down without a medical reason, or they just were concerned that she would not get the care that she deserved. And so the husband, came from eastern Iowa here to Des Moines and brought her to me. And it took Pumpkin a little while to get used to this place. You know, she had to adjust. You know, she heard another cat, so I was not able to do what they call a soft introduction, where you can separate the new cat from the original cat. And I guess it's the same you do with dogs, or a dog and a cat, just whatever. But I do not have a separate room where I could keep another cat outside of the bathroom, and I have to go in there. I only have a one bedroom apartment, so. And I just could not keep a cat in a kennel all the time. They have to have room to move. So, you know, I just agreed to take her. She was brought here. And as soon as I closed my door and he left, she jumped out of my arms and went to start checking out the place. It probably took Pumpkin about a month to start to warm up to me and to realize that this was her home now. But I'll tell you, she is a purring machine. Thanks for dropping in, Mike. Hope to see you next week. If not, then next month. But Pumpkin has done one good thing around here. She nailed a mouse. Probably about 5 or 6 months after she came here. So I do know she is capable of that. She's probably done that in the past. And Mila had done that a few times. In the previous place I lived, if some larger insects got in and she was able to paw at it and knock it down to the floor, she would play with those bugs until she killed it. But she had also caught a few mice. And the 3 times she caught mice, it was actually here in this apartment. We have had issues with mice in the past, and I have caught them in traps, but I have not seen any since, so I think those issues have been taken care of for the most part. But Pumpkin has taken interest in insects. So she sees or smells one, she may try to go after it. Another thing about Pumpkin, she prefers to get her water from a faucet, whether it's the kitchen sink or the bathroom sink, which is more difficult because it's a smaller sink and the faucet is lower to the sink than the kitchen faucet is, or the bathtub. There is Hugo Homestead in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Cheese tortellini. This is back in 2018. Unfortunately, I have no chocolate peanut spread because that leaked. So I got a cheese spread, and I took a tortilla from my kitchen and I put all of the tortellinis on it. I ate some of them. I had also put some Parmesan cheese on it. So this is the regular cheese spread that comes in US MREs, and I put some of that on a cracker. Is what still all right? The chocolate peanut spread leaked over everything, and it smelled like it just leaked oil, and it smelled like rancid peanut oil. If you've ever smelled rancid oil or rancid peanut butter, that's what it smelled like. And that oil was leaking onto several other items that I had to wipe off. So I just ditched that, and I got a cheese spread. But this is that recovery trail mix. And then roasted salted peanuts. So it's a good thing I have a lot of these extra items because I can pull one out in a pinch. And this is lemon lime, but it's the carbohydrate electrolyte version. Not your standard green drink that looks closer to the color of Mountain Dew than this. And these taste different because of the electrolyte component in it. And the accessory packet had this crap. I don't throw those packets away. I save them because I know people who are diabetic, who have to really, really restrict their sugar. And so I save those for people like that. And of course, anything else that I do not use, I save. Like, I didn't use that spoon, but I save it. That I hold on to. And this accessory packet did not have matches in it. So I don't know if that was intentional or if that was an oops on the part of the packer. And just for the heck of it, I got a tortilla from my kitchen and I put my tortellini on top of that tortilla and then I put some Parmesan cheese on it. And then on one of my bites of the cracker that I had some of that cheese spread on, I put a tortellini on top of that and ate it. Now this is kind of snack heavy, and I'm guessing they have all these nuts in here because the fact that the cheese tortellini does not have a whole lot of protein in it. The chocolate peanut spread would not have a whole lot of protein in it. Less protein than just a regular packet of peanut butter that comes in the same type of wrapping as this. So that's probably why they have all the extra nuts in it to boost up that protein. But no dessert of any kind other than that chocolate peanut spread. So I guess this would probably be one of the quote-unquote lighter calorie MREs. And not all of these MREs have the same amount of calories in them. The totems, like the ones I had last week, and then a few, like about a month or so before that, I opened up the first one, and then I had another one probably about 3 or 4 years before that. They have even fewer calories because they're not designed for extreme high activity where you need all the extra calories and protein and fat to keep you going for that sustained activity. Yep. Speaking of the cheese, I figured, I got it. I'm going to use it. Of course, it also came with this bottle of hot sauce, Tabasco. Let's see if I can get the hold focus on there. Doesn't want to hold focus for some reason. I don't know if it's because it's shiny. When Tabasco was first brought into these MREs, it was in these glass bottles. Then they switched to the packets, which hold less. And now they brought these bottles back. But I do like it in those bottles. They're pretty sturdy bottles. I've never seen Bill's Brew Coffee in a store. I'm assuming it's like a corporate supplier, or they have an exclusive contract to provide coffee to the ration packers. As far as an instant coffee goes, it's not bad. How the garden is in the house. I've eaten all of the tortellini, and I did a couple of things to it. I spread it out on a tortilla, and then I put some Parmesan cheese on it. And a couple of different times, these are pretzel balls. I drop these in the sauce, get a little crunch. But the sauce in the tortellini tastes like Chef Boyardee canned sauce, like you would get in say the beef ravioli or any of the other canned pasta things. Nowhere near as good as this marinara sauce that the meatballs were in that tailored operational training meal I opened up last week. Now, that was some pretty darn good marinara sauce. I was supposed to have a chocolate peanut spread for the crackers, but that leaked oil all over some of the other items, so I ditched that. So this one has no real dessert of any kind. The closest thing to it would have been that chocolate peanut spread. But two salty snacks, both with nuts. And the accessory pack had this crap. I don't use it, but I save those for people who have to use that stuff. And there wasn't even a book of matches in there. I don't know if that was done on purpose, that was left out, or if that was an oops on the part of the packer. Pumpkin is running back and forth around here like a crazy cat. Some people call those zoomies when an animal just runs at full speed. Well, Mila used to do that when she was young. Yeah, for as big a cat as Pumpkin is, she can move. Yeah, she zoomed all right, CR. But as I was saying to others, you know, she is a very good cat. And she likes to go after my toes when I'm in bed, when I have my wool blanket spread out and I got it covering me. Oops, sorry about that brief disconnect. But if I don't have it over my feet, she is less likely to try to pounce my toes. I'm guessing it's the texture of the bedspread that she doesn't like. But she loves my wool blanket. So in the warmer months, that'll be put away. And she'll have to find other places to sleep. Of course, she does anyway. She's got different places where she will sleep. And sometimes Pumpkin, I'd be in the bathroom, and if I happen to be barefoot, she will sniff one of my feet, and then maybe about a couple minutes later, she'll come back in. If I'm still in there, she'll sniff that same foot again. Or she'll sniff the other foot. If I go out, I take my shoes off and put my slippers on. She will sniff the shoes I was wearing. I ask her if she is trying to figure out where I've been. I'll tell you, she purrs like she's got a big old motor inside her. Mila hardly ever purred, even in her younger days. She hardly ever purred. I maybe heard her purr 3 or 4 times in all the 18 and a half years she was with me. But I tell Pumpkin that she's got a motor inside her. Yeah. If I'm gone for 3 or 4 days or a week at a time, yeah, Pumpkin will be near the door when I come home. Not always. I think she was used to Johnny going out when he would go to camp for a weekend, when he'd go camp by himself or he would go camp with others or the family. So maybe she got used to his more frequent trips. But if I was gone for the same amount of time, Mila was always right there by the door when I would come home. I have seen that in videos, but I shortly after I got Mila and I'd gotten her neck issues treated after someone had put Frontline on her when she was only 3 weeks old, which is way too young to be putting that stuff on a kitten. About when she was about 6 months old, I tried to put a collar on her. She managed to get that collar off. I tried a couple of different times. She just wouldn't have it. So I just gave up on the collar. And Pumpkin did not come with the collar. So I'm not going to change that. Now, one thing I cannot do is have my slider, the glass door wide open, or my bedroom window wide open, or Pumpkin will be all up to the top of the screen. She's a screen climber. So that's right, I'm talking about you, Pumpkin. I don't know if you heard that meow. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Pumpkin. I'll give her. Yeah, that was Pumpkin. I tell people her name is Pumpkin. They think she's an orange cat, and I said, nope, she's a tortie. I say, I don't know why they named her Pumpkin. But yep, that was Pumpkin. I'm still live, Pumpkin. I'm still live. Oh, you want me to get your nose? See, well, she's your typical cat, and like she likes to rub on anything and everything. I tell her you'd rub on a fart if you could. Yep, that's Pumpkin. And now she's gone to her mole to have a munch. She's at least twice the size of Mila was. Mila never got any bigger than 7 pounds. But Pumpkin is probably at least double that. Yeah, she's a bigger build cat. Before I got Pumpkin, when I just had Mila, one of those about 3.25 pound bags of cat food would last me nearly a month. And that's with the food being available all the time because I put it in one of those feed dispensers that will hold exactly one of those bags. But then after I got Pumpkin and I was seeing how much she was eating, I thought I better just go to some bigger bags of food. So then after I would buy a couple of those bags a month, or I would go to like a 7.5 pound bag. But that would be pretty much a month. But then I decided that I would get a much better deal on a bigger bag and have it delivered. So I got onto Amazon Subscribe and Save, and I get the 13 pound, maybe it's a little over 13 pounds. I think it's like 13.5 or something like that. About every 3 months, I get one of those bags delivered. And so that lasts. So I did not go through one of those bags in a month. So I basically have like two stacked. So I use out of one, and then I have two more as backup, and then I just rotate through those. I was going through more of that food before Mila left this life. But I decided to keep it the way I got it. That way I got a good buffer of food. So if for some reason I cannot get any for a while, through any other means, if I have to pause a subscribe and save delivery or delay it for a month or whatever, I got that buffer. Now, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, how to garden is gonna call it a night here. I'll probably be cutting this short pretty soon anyway. I'm only showing 34 minutes slide, but I had that break. Or I had already gone well over like 1.5 hours, so I know I'm over 2 hours into this. But But next week I will be back here at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I hope the stupid time change didn't confuse a lot of people. I hope this is the last time I do it. Congress has a bill that if they pass it and the president signs it, this will be the last time we have to deal with the stupid time change here in the U.S. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for dropping in, especially those who have come in here for the first time. And after next Sunday, I will not be on live at all until after Ramadan. So April 23rd will be the next time I go live after that. And I got something a little different in mind for that. So anyway, I do want to thank you all for dropping in. And come back next week if you can, and if not, I'll see you next month. So anyway, thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.